Lieutenant Xylar sat in the cold observation room of the starship Virex, his sharp eyes scanning the blinking screens in front of him. The Galactic High Command had given him a secret order: observe humans in battle and report everything. Their mission was clear: find their weaknesses. Xylar had never been close to humans before. Most of his species considered humans primitive, weak, and unpredictable. That is why this mission was critical. The order had felt like a joke at first. Humans? Really? Xylar had whispered to his commanding officer, a tall and serious figure named Kralin. They fight like animals with sticks and blasters. What could they possibly teach us? Kralin's eyes were cold. You will observe. You will report. The High Command demands results. Fail, and you will be replaced. Do you understand? Xylar had nodded, though his pride burned. He was the best observer in his fleet. If humans were truly weak, he would prove it easily. Now sitting in the observation room, he watched as his ship glided silently above a small human colony. The planet below was rocky and dry, dotted with small buildings and vehicles. A small skirmish had already begun. From the comfort of his ship, Xylar could see human soldiers moving quickly, dodging strange energy blasts from alien raiders. At first glance, it seemed exactly as expected. The humans were scattered, their formations sloppy, and their movements chaotic. They ran in different directions, ducking behind rocks and buildings, often pausing as if unsure of what to do next. Xylar leaned back in his chair, almost bored. They are weak, he murmured to himself. Nothing like us. Nothing organized. This will be easy. But then something caught his eye. A human soldier, small and thin, had taken cover behind a rocky outcrop. A powerful energy blast shot toward him. Normally, Xylar expected the soldier to be struck, but instead, the human moved at the last second, twisting in the air, and deflected the blast with a handheld shield. Not just once, but twice. Xylar blinked. Impossible, he muttered. His sensors calculated the trajectory, but the soldier's movements were erratic, unpredictable. No algorithm could have predicted that dodge. The human seemed to move as if the energy itself were visible to him. Xylar leaned closer to the screen. Every move the human made was precise and dangerous, yet it did not look planned. It looked instinctive. What is this? He whispered. A knot of unease formed in his chest. He had seen thousands of battles, analyzed hundreds of species. But humans were different. The battle below continued. The humans used rocks, buildings, and even vehicles as cover. They worked together, yet without a visible plan. One group would flank the aliens while another distracted them. It was chaotic but effective. Every move seemed illogical, yet every human survived. Xylar's sensors picked up alien casualties. The humans had already forced the raiders to retreat in certain areas. His lips tightened. They are winning with so little. A sudden alarm sounded. One of the alien raiders had fired a missile toward the observation ship's sensor array. Xylar quickly activated the shields, watching the missile explode harmlessly in space. He realized with a shiver that even being above the battle did not make him completely safe. The humans might not even notice him, but the chaos they created could reach far beyond the ground. Xylar tried to take notes, recording every human action. He noted their speed, their weapons, their strange bravery. Still, he could not find a weakness. He could not predict what the humans would do next. Hours passed. Xylar watched more humans join the fight. They carried simple weapons, blasters, and handheld tools, but they used them in ways that confounded his calculations. Some set traps with wires and explosives. Others used alien technology they had captured in clever ways. Every tactic surprised him. For the first time in his career, Xylar felt frustration. His entire species prided itself on strategy, on logic, on planning and precision. And yet, humans were defeating enemies without any of that, relying on courage, instinct, and unpredictability. A young human soldier, barely more than a teenager, ran toward a damaged alien vehicle. His companions shouted at him to stop, but he ignored them. Using a strange device, he sabotaged the alien ship, causing it to explode in a shower of sparks. Xylar's sensors recorded every movement, but even with all his data, he could not understand why the human had chosen that moment or that method. Xylar leaned back in disbelief. They are not weak. They are something else. He did not finish the thought. Fear crept into his mind. If humans fought like this in every battle, what chance did his species have against them? As the sun set over the rocky planet, Xylar continued to watch. Humans moved among the rubble, tending to their wounded, sharing water and supplies, yet never stopping the fight. Their eyes burned with determination. Each human seemed to carry a fire inside him, a drive that no alien logic could predict. Xylar realized something uncomfortable. He was no longer just observing. He was watching warriors unlike any he had seen before. They fought with intelligence, courage, and unpredictability. They were alive in a way his species rarely experienced. Suddenly, a squad of human soldiers sprinted toward the main alien base. Xylar activated his zoom, watching closely. The humans threw explosives, used captured alien weapons, and communicated in short bursts. The aliens were caught off guard, unable to adapt. One by one, their defenses fell. Xylar's mind raced. Every calculation he made was useless. Every strategy he thought would work against them failed. And with every success, the humans grew bolder. He leaned back, hands trembling slightly. I may have underestimated them, he admitted quietly. The first seed of regret had taken root. That night, as the humans set up camp under the alien sun, Xylar remained in his observation ship. He could not sleep. He could not stop thinking about the humans he had watched. They were nothing like the aliens he had faced before. They were brave, intelligent, and terrifyingly unpredictable. And deep down, Xylar knew this. He had been sent to observe humans, but he had already begun to fear them. The mission was only beginning, but one thing was clear. His report would be unlike any he had ever written. Humans were not what they seemed. They were more, much more. And Xylar, the proud observer of the Galactic High Command, suddenly realized he might have made a grave mistake coming here. The first part of the mission had ended, but the real test, the one that would define the future, was only beginning. Lieutenant Xylar could not stop thinking about the humans he had observed yesterday. Their courage and unpredictability haunted him. Even now, as his ship hovered silently above the battlefield, he tried to analyze their behavior. He activated his long-range sensors and zoomed in on a larger skirmish that had erupted at the edge of the human colony. This time, the humans were facing not just raiders, but a well-armed alien platoon, far stronger and more numerous than the small group he had watched before. At first, the aliens had every advantage. Their weapons were more powerful, their shields stronger, and their formations precise. Xylar expected the humans to scatter, to fall apart under the weight of superior technology. But they did not. The humans moved as if they had a language beyond words. Small squads flanked the aliens while others created distractions. One human soldier rolled under fire, tossing a device that caused an alien vehicle to explode. Another sprinted toward the enemy line, dodging blasts with impossible timing. Xylar's sensors recorded everything, but the patterns made no sense. Every move was sudden, unexpected, yet effective. They are adapting, Xylar muttered to himself. He frowned, leaning closer to the screen. He had studied alien warfare for decades, yet he could not predict what the humans would do next. Every calculation failed. Every algorithm was useless. He decided to test them. Using the ship's cloaking and advanced targeting systems, he created a minor disturbance in the battlefield, a sudden explosion near the humans' path. He expected panic. He expected chaos. Instead, the humans reacted instantly. They scattered to cover, yes, but then regrouped and adjusted their attack. One soldier shouted instructions in rapid words, and his companions responded with perfect timing. Xylar's sensors recorded every micro-movement. It was coordination, but not like the structured formations his species relied on. This was something new. They are smart, he whispered, a flicker of fear entering his voice. The aliens advanced with heavy weapons. One massive cannon fired, directly at the human's position. Xylar held his breath. The humans seemed trapped, surrounded on all sides. Yet, in a few seconds, the impossible happened. A human squad used the terrain to their advantage. Rocks, buildings, and narrow passages became traps. They lured the aliens forward, forcing them into choke points. Explosions erupted in perfect timing. Energy blasts from the humans, though weak compared to the aliens, were aimed with precision. Slowly, the superior alien force began to falter. Xylar's jaw tightened. This was not luck. This was not chaos. This was instinct, intelligence, and courage all combined. He had never seen a species fight like this. Not in simulations. Not in the thousands of battles he had observed. As the battle continued, Xylar noticed another detail. The humans never gave up. Even when a group of aliens cornered a few soldiers, the humans countered with clever tactics. One soldier jumped onto an alien vehicle, using it as a shield, then rolled away, knocking out alien. Weapons with a... Lieutenant Xylar's hands trembled slightly as he adjusted the controls of the Virex. The humans he had observed were unlike any species he had ever seen. Their courage and ingenuity disturbed him, and he could no longer rely on predictions or calculations. He had thought watching from a distance was enough, but High Command now ordered him closer. He was to observe the humans on the front lines, within sight of the battlefield itself. Xylar activated the ship's cloaking device and descended into the atmosphere of the rocky planet. Dust and smoke swirled around the human encampment as explosions from the ongoing skirmish painted the sky with bright streaks. Humans were everywhere, running, ducking, shouting, and firing weapons, but it was organized chaos. Every move seemed spontaneous yet coordinated, like pieces of a puzzle falling into place without anyone seeing the full picture. He followed a squad of soldiers as they approached a small alien outpost. Xylar had predicted a direct attack, expecting them to falter against the superior alien forces. But the humans did something entirely unexpected. One soldier, small and wiry, darted forward and examined the alien door. With no hesitation, he attached a device that caused the structure to collapse inward in a controlled explosion. Another human laid covering fire, while two more flanked the alien guards, knocking them out before they could react. The aliens fought back, but they were confused and off balance, unable to predict the humans' moves. Xylar leaned forward, unable to hide his surprise. He had never seen precision like this combined with such fearlessness. The humans moved quickly, adjusting their plan with every change in the battlefield. They are not weak, he muttered under his breath. They are perfect in chaos. The aliens regrouped and fired a heavy energy cannon toward the humans. Xylar expected immediate casualties, but the humans did not panic. They scattered in all directions using rocks, walls, and debris as shields. A small team sprinted behind a rocky ridge and reappeared moments later with captured alien weapons. With these, they struck the alien forces from angles no one could predict. Xylar's sensors recorded every action, but his mind could not keep up. Every strategy he had learned for predicting an enemy failed. Every algorithm he relied on to calculate. Battle outcomes was useless against these humans. One human soldier, a young woman with short hair and a determined look, sprinted across open ground toward a damaged alien vehicle. Xylar held his breath. Normally, exposure like this would result in instant casualties, but she moved quickly, dodging energy blasts. With precision, she climbed onto the vehicle, planted explosives at key points, and rolled away as it erupted in fire. The blast took out several alien troops nearby. Xylar could not look away. How do they do this? He whispered. The humans' movements were not random. They were instinctive but also intelligent. She saw the battlefield as a living puzzle and acted without hesitation. As the battle continued, Xylar observed a group of humans trying to rescue wounded comrades. The aliens had cornered them in a narrow canyon. The humans were outnumbered and trapped. Xylar expected them to fall, yet they did not. One soldier noticed a small ledge above the canyon. With a rope and some quick thinking, they climbed to higher ground and began attacking the aliens from above. Another human created a smokescreen using a simple device, confusing the aliens and hiding the wounded. Together, the humans turned a desperate situation into a victory, forcing the aliens to retreat. Xylar's mind raced. These humans were not just strong. They were creative, adaptable, and fearless. They did not fight with mere strength. They fought with intelligence, courage, and instinct. Every move they made was unpredictable yet effective. He tried to analyze their motivation. Unlike many alien species he had studied, humans did not fight solely for power, territory, or glory. They fought for each other. For survival, yes, but also for their companions, their homes, and their ideals. This unity gave them strength beyond what technology or weapons could provide. Xylar realized something dangerous. Underestimating humans could cost his species dearly. Every battle he had observed so far proved that humans could turn almost any disadvantage into an advantage. And their numbers, while small, did not limit them. They were clever, adaptable, and relentless. A sudden movement caught his attention. A massive alien mech had advanced toward a human supply depot. Xylar expected panic, but the humans reacted instantly. One group set up decoys to draw its attention, while another approached from the sides, using captured alien weapons to attack. Weak points. The mech stumbled, then collapsed in a cloud of smoke and fire. The humans cheered briefly, then returned to their positions ready for the next threat. Xylar could hardly believe what he had witnessed. These were not ordinary soldiers. They were extraordinary. He began to question his own species' assumptions. For decades, the Galactic High Command had considered humans weak, predictable, and inferior. And yet, here they were, defeating advanced alien forces with limited resources, creative tactics, and sheer determination. Xylar had always believed in logic and calculation. Now he realized humans could not be predicted or controlled. By the time night fell, the humans had secured the area and begun tending to the wounded. Xylar watched from his hidden position, recording every detail. Even in victory, humans showed care and discipline. They helped each other, shared supplies, and prepared for the next battle, as if nothing could intimidate them. Xylar leaned back, exhaustion and awe weighing on him. He had been sent to observe humans, to find weaknesses. Instead, he had discovered something far more troubling. Humans were strong, intelligent, and utterly unpredictable. Every assumption he had made about their capabilities had been wrong. For the first time, he felt fear, not of failure, but of the humans themselves. If a small group of humans could defeat superior alien forces, what could an entire human army accomplish? And what would happen if they ever faced the Galactic High Command directly? He recorded a final note for the day. Humans fight with courage, intelligence, and unity. No pattern predicts their actions. They adapt instantly. Any conflict with them could result in catastrophic losses. Observation continues, but the data suggests extreme caution. Xylar powered down his instruments and stared at the night sky. The humans below slept under the alien sun, exhausted but unbroken. Their determination, creativity, and bravery burned brighter than any star above. For the first time, he understood the truth. Humans were not just another species. They were exceptional, fearless, and capable of feats no one had expected. Xylar sighed, rubbing his face. He had been sent to observe them, but he could not shake the growing sense of dread. Underestimating humans had already cost him his certainty, and he feared it might one day cost his species much more. The battle had ended for now, but Xylar knew the real test was only beginning. And he, the proud observer of the Galactic High Command, was starting to realize that humans were far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. Lieutenant Xylar adjusted the controls of the Virex, hovering silently above the battlefield. The humans had proven themselves again and again, but he was determined to continue his observation. High Command demanded answers, and Xylar was expected to report their weaknesses. Yet, the more he watched, the more impossible it seemed to find any. The battlefield had shifted. Humans were no longer fighting scattered skirmishes. They were defending a critical outpost that controlled access to the planet's main city. Alien forces had learned from earlier defeats and were now more cautious, but that made them slower, predictable, and vulnerable to human ingenuity. Xylar zoomed in on the humans. They were smaller in number, under-equipped, and exhausted from continuous combat. Yet their morale remained unbroken. One squad of soldiers, led by a young human named Captain Rena, was tasked with defending a narrow canyon pass. The aliens assumed they could easily overwhelm this position. Xylar prepared to record their failure, but the humans did not fail. Captain Rena surveyed the battlefield, eyes sharp and calculating. She spoke quickly, giving short orders that the others immediately understood. One human climbed a rocky ledge and aimed a small but powerful launcher at an approaching alien vehicle. Another set up a trap with improvised explosives, hidden among the rocks. The aliens advanced, confident in their strength, but the humans had turned the canyon into a deadly maze. Xylar watched in disbelief as the first alien vehicle triggered the trap and exploded, throwing others off balance. The humans moved swiftly, exploiting every weakness in the enemy's formation. Every action was deliberate yet adaptable. Xylar had never seen such coordination without a rigid command structure. He realized the humans' strength was not just skill or courage, it was their creativity. They adapted to every situation, inventing solutions on the spot. They combined technology, the environment, and their instincts to create opportunities that no one could predict. Suddenly, an alarm blared from the canyon's entrance. A group of injured humans had been cornered by alien forces. Xylar expected panic, but the humans remained calm. One soldier used a smoke device to hide their movements, while another distracted the aliens with precise, well-timed fire. Captain Rena led a team around the back, attacking the aliens from an unexpected angle. The humans rescued their companions and forced the attackers to retreat. Lieutenant Xylar's hands gripped the edges of the observation console as he hovered closer to the battlefield. The humans were about to face their toughest challenge yet. A massive alien force, larger and more advanced than any they had seen before, was advancing toward the human central outpost. Xylar had been sent to watch, to record, and to find weaknesses, but he was beginning to realize something terrifying. The humans might have no weaknesses at all. From his hidden vantage point, Xylar could see the humans preparing their defenses. Captain Rena, the same young leader he had observed in previous battles, moved among the troops with calm authority. Her voice was steady, her gestures clear. Even exhausted, the humans were focused, organized in ways that looked simple but were incredibly effective. The alien force arrived with a roar, their ships hovering in the sky, their ground units advancing with powerful weapons. Xylar's sensors recorded the alien numbers. They were overwhelming. The humans had fewer soldiers, lighter weapons, and limited support. The odds should have been impossible, yet the humans did not flinch. Captain Rena signaled her squads. Some humans moved to high ground. Others set traps, and a few stayed with civilians ready to defend them. Xylar noted the precision of their movements. It was coordination without rigidity. They were not following a strict command. They were working, together instinctively, responding to every change in the battlefield. The aliens opened fire. Energy blasts lit the sky, tearing through rocks and buildings. Humans ducked and rolled, using terrain to shield themselves. One squad fired from behind cover, targeting weak points in alien vehicles. Another team flanked the advancing forces, cutting off escape routes. The aliens were strong, fast, and heavily armed, but the humans were faster, smarter, and unpredictable. Xylar's sensors recorded the humans' actions in detail, but even his advanced systems could not anticipate the next moves. Each human seemed to see the battlefield as a living puzzle, And every decision, every action was part of a larger, dynamic plan. One human, a young man named Jaren, ran across open ground to rescue a fallen comrade. Energy blasts screamed past him, but he did not stop. He reached the soldier, lifted him, and dashed behind cover. Another human covered his movements, firing at approaching aliens with incredible accuracy. Xylar felt his chest tighten. These humans were fearless, willing to risk themselves for others. Suddenly, a massive alien mech advanced toward the human defensive line. Its weapons were devastating, and Xylar expected the humans to scatter. But they did not. Captain Rena's squad split into smaller teams. One group lured the mech into a narrow canyon while another planted explosives on its weak points. A human climbed a rocky ledge and fired a precision shot, causing the mech to stumble. The explosives detonated in perfect timing, collapsing part of the canyon on the mech and destroying it. Xylar could hardly believe his sensors. These humans were small, fragile, and outnumbered, and yet they could destroy machines designed to dominate entire battlefields. Their courage, intelligence, and creativity were unmatched. As the battle raged, Xylar noticed the humans' unity. Even when surrounded, they protected each other, healed the wounded, and adapted instantly to new threats. One soldier used captured alien technology to disable an advancing alien vehicle. Another human carried civilians to safety, dodging fire, and coordinating with others without hesitation. Xylar realized something that terrified him. These humans did not just fight for survival. They fought for life itself, for their companions, and for the ideals they believed in, and that made them unstoppable. High Command had demanded he find their weaknesses, but Xylar could find none. Every time he thought he had discovered one, the humans surprised him. Their strength was not only in weapons or numbers, it was in their courage, ingenuity, and unity. Hours passed. The aliens, frustrated by their losses, tried new tactics, but the humans adapted immediately. Captain Rena noticed a squad of aliens approaching from an unexpected direction and sent a team to intercept them. Another group set up a trap using debris and explosives, taking out several alien units at once. The humans moved as one, without hesitation, without fear. Xylar leaned back, stunned. He had seen many battles in his career, but nothing like this. These humans were a force of nature. They combined courage, intelligence, and unpredictability in ways that no species he had observed could match. And they fought not for conquest, but for each other, for their homes, and for their lives. A sudden explosion rocked the battlefield. Xylar's sensors detected a group of humans trapped under debris. He expected disaster, but the humans worked together, lifting rocks, creating diversions with fire and noise, and rescuing their companions. Not one human panicked, not one faltered. They moved with purpose and determination, united against the impossible. Xylar realized that this was what made humans so dangerous. They were unpredictable, yes, but they were also unstoppable when united. Their spirit and ingenuity could turn even the most hopeless battle into a victory. As the sun set over the battlefield, the humans had secured their outpost and tended to the wounded. The aliens had retreated, their numbers reduced, their morale shattered. Xylar's sensors recorded every action, but his mind struggled to process it all. For the first time, he understood the truth. Humans were exceptional. They were not just soldiers. They were a force that could not be controlled, predicted, or defeated easily. Every battle, every skirmish, proved it. Xylar realized that observing humans had changed him. He had started this mission thinking he could find their weaknesses, but instead he had discovered their strengths. He felt respect, awe, and fear all at the same time. He recorded a final note for the day. Humans fight with courage, intelligence, and unity. They adapt instantly. They have no predictable limits. Any engagement with them could result in catastrophic losses. Observation continues, but extreme caution is advised. Xylar powered down some instruments and stared at the humans as they settled under the alien sky. Exhausted yet alert, they prepared for the next challenge. Their eyes burned with determination, a light no sensor could measure. He knew one thing for certain: the humans were extraordinary. Underestimating them could cost his species everything. And if a full-scale war ever came, the Galactic High Command would face a force unlike any they had imagined. Xylar sighed, rubbing his face. He had been sent to observe humans, but he realized now that watching was not enough. Humans were more than soldiers. They were an unstoppable combination of courage, intelligence, and unity. For the first time, he feared the very species he had been ordered to study. Lieutenant Xylar sat alone in the observation deck of the Virex, staring at the battle-scarred planet below. The humans had defended their outpost with courage, intelligence, and unity that he could no longer deny. He had been sent to study them, to find weaknesses, and to report them to the Galactic High Command. But after witnessing their ingenuity and bravery firsthand, he realized he could not deliver the report they expected. The humans below were tending to the wounded, repairing defenses, and preparing for the next encounter. Their eyes shone with determination, and their movements were calm, precise, and coordinated. They were exhausted but not broken. Even in the aftermath of heavy battle, they continued to act as one force, united by courage and purpose. Xylar ran his claws over the console, opening the transmission channel to High Command. He knew he had to give them an honest report, but the words felt impossible to say. How could he explain that the species they had dismissed as weak and primitive was, in fact, extraordinary? Lieutenant Xylar, report, the commanding voice demanded from the Galactic High Command. Xylar hesitated. He had spent decades observing species, analyzing data, and predicting outcomes. But humans were not predictable. They were a force beyond calculation, beyond logic. Finally, he spoke. Sir, the humans, he began, voice tight with emotion. They are not weak. They are exceptional. They fight with courage, intelligence, and unity. Every move is unpredictable yet effective. They adapt instantly to every situation. No pattern predicts their actions. No weapon ensures victory against them. There was silence on the other end. Xylar continued, trying to convey the magnitude of what he had seen. I was sent to observe and find weaknesses. I found none. They fight not just for survival or victory. They fight for each other, for their homes, for life itself. Underestimating them would be a grave mistake. Any engagement with them could result in catastrophic losses. The silence lasted longer than Xylar expected. He could feel the tension through the transmission. Then finally a voice responded, more measured than before. Explain in detail. Your observations. All of them. Xylar took a deep breath. He activated the recordings, sending hours of battle footage, sensor readings, and his notes. He described the humans' courage in the face of superior numbers, their creativity in using terrain and technology, and their unity that allowed them to achieve the impossible. He told of Captain Rena, Jaren, and countless others who had risked their lives to save companions and civilians. He explained how humans could turn desperate situations into victories through intelligence, adaptability, and sheer determination. As he transmitted, Xylar felt a mix of pride and fear. Pride in having witnessed such brilliance, and fear at what it meant for the galaxy. If,